Welcome back to my channel for a Nikon fun episode, which will be very short, but hopefully something you will enjoy. And in front of me on the table you see the Nikon Z9, and on the Nikon Z9 I have mounted the Nikkor 100 to 400 mm f4.5 to f5.6 S and the Nikon Teleconverter 2 times. And that means we have here at the 100 mm mark for the focal length without the teleconverter a widest open aperture of f4.5. If we mount the teleconverter, we have widest open an f9.0. And at the 400 mm focal length, we have an f5.6 without the teleconverter, and with the teleconverter, we have an f11.2, because that's what the teleconverter is doing to your widest open aperture. And that also means, of course, that this is a variable aperture lens here, so not a constant aperture like a more, let's say, expensive relative of this lens, which I might review also on my channel. Let's see. And I don't want to provide a fully fledged review of that lens. What I want to do is I want to have some fun. And we are invited tonight at the house of friends. They have a very beautiful garden, and I know it is a full moon. So I will take my equipment with me, my tripod, this camera lens combo, including the teleconverter, and will shoot the full moon. And that is of course fun. Yes, and it's a pain being friends with me, because whenever you invite me, you will see me coming with my backpack full of equipment. Let's kick this off. Before showing a quick clip about my shooting and then sample images, let me make a very short remark. Namely, the moon is of course an object sitting on the night sky. But in contrast to the stars, where you typically go on the camera settings to higher ISO and longer exposures, if you shoot the moon because it's so bright, you actually go for lower ISO and comparably short shutter times. And that is something you will see in the sample images, and also enables you to shoot these type of moon images handhold if you want. I nevertheless prefer to have the camera on a tripod, like you will see in that short video clip in a moment. And now let's look into that clip and let's look into sample images. Alright, I want to show a sequence of 5 frames, which then will lead me to the final result of that moon shooting with a Nikon Z9 and a Nikkor Z 100 to 400 mm and the 2 times teleconverter mounted. So this is the first shot. It's the full frame. So we have 45 megapixel give or take here. Shooting parameters are 1/250 seconds at an f11, so fairly well stopped down. ISO is 200. And I can easily crop in here to 100%, and the moon is nice, crisp and sharp. Look at the details at the surface of the moon. This is really good. But of course, if I want to have the full frame, the full 45 megapixel, the moon is still comparably small, because 800 mm is not enough in terms of focal length to make the moon filling the frame. The next image is one where I cropped in, and this has only 3257 pixel times 2171 now, but the same shooting parameters, so is the frame here cropped in. And here the moon is nicely set in scene, but of course the resolution is reduced heavily. So what I did next is I went to this frame here, and here I changed a little bit the parameters, and then I make it larger in terms of resolution. So here I thought I go to an ISO of 80, and I shoot with 1/160 seconds, again at an aperture of f11. And this image now I denoised in Lightroom, and the AI-based denoising algorithm in Lightroom is really, really good. So I wanted to prepare that image for upscaling via Gigapixel AI. And Gigapixel AI is a software which can help you with a lot of settings and parameters to upscale images of lower resolution to a higher resolution, 2 times, 4 times, what have you. Now on the moon, I will only go and scale it up by 2 times. But the denoising before in Lightroom turned out to be a really good idea. And the final frame is this one here. This has now a resolution of 5534 pixel times 3690. So it's give or take 20.4 megapixel. And this looks really good. Let me crop in here to 100%. and you see all the details of the moon surface here. Look at the craters. This looks really good. It has almost no noise. It preserved the details, and Gigapixel AI with the parameters I was choosing did actually a fairly well job here, scaling this up to a higher resolution compared to this one. So if I put them side by side, let me quickly do that. Let me grab the lower resolution one and the upscaled one. Let me put them side by side. And you see from a distance or without cropping in, they look exactly the same. But then I have much more reserves, of course, on the right-hand side to crop in and get all the details and the surface structure of the moon set into scene. And this is my final image with 20.4 megapixel. You can print it nicely in a medium-sized dimension, and it looks really, really good in my opinion. And the Nikon Z9 did a good job with the Nikkor Z 100 to 400 millimeter. It's a very sharp lens with the 2x teleconverter. It gets you up to 800 millimeter, and for a moonshot, a really perfect solution. Look here. If you liked that video, don't forget to drop me a thumbs up. Stay tuned on my channel. There is always more to come. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and healthy, and of course, peace out.